Welcome back, YouTubers, to another Q&A number 27 with us, the British Fist.
Go, Jim.
I am Mr. Parkin, wearing that same old England shirt that I was wearing in the last Q&A, and this guy sitting next to me doing a bit of a different dance than he did in the last Q&A, but he still has the same name, though. It's NJ.
What's up?
Indeed, NJ. What's up, indeed. Make sure you subscribe up above, like this video, and keep sending in your questions via those links in the description box below.
Make sure you contact us in those links in the description box below.
Yeah, you just repeated what I said, didn't you?
Indeed.
Yes, indeed. You can get in touch with us via inbox. You can also get in touch with us via our Facebook, facebook.com/BritishFist, or you could indeed comment down below your questions. Keep sending in your questions. We do enjoy answering them, and make sure you guys be patient if your question hasn't been answered yet. I know we've said this a couple of times now, but we have a lot of questions to get through. We'll try and get to your question as soon as possible. Right, now we've got that breath out of the way. Whew. The first question comes from JP Jr. I think that's how you announce the name. JP Jr. for the win. Hey guys, if you had the money and resources, to either bring back an old company or improve one of the current ones to compete with WWE, which one would it be and why? I personally would revive WCW. They were a better company before the historic takeover and eventual collapse they had, in my opinion. So firstly, which company would you bring back? Would it be a WCW or would you improve the TNA product?
I'd like to say move on with what we've got. So I think improve TNA, make that have the ratings that they deserve and have good competition with WWE.
I personally would. I kind of agree here that they probably did. WCW was a really good company and it actually beat WWE in the ratings for 80 weeks in a row. So personally, I would revive if I could revive WCW. It would be impossible. It would be more easier to improve TNA, but I'd revive WCW because that was a big brand and it really did compete with WWE very well. So that's the one I would revive. I would like to improve TNA, but at the same time, WCW was a great company that really did its job to provide a competition and really was a great, made Vince McMahon create the Attitude Era.
Now we have WCW that are all old and,
all in TNA.
So
basically the same company.
They do. I think they just improve TNA, basically. Yeah. So next question comes from Wrestling Tube 101. Do you guys think that Hogan's overrated? And how is that How
is it to this day he's the most overguy in wrestling? Yes. In terms of him being overrated, yes, he's overrated in the ring. Yes, he can't really wrestle very well. But it is weird how he is still the most over guy in wrestling. Because he's a great crowd manipulator. I mean, you can't take that away from him. He always manages to get a reaction. We even saw it at Bound for Glory, for God's sake. Now he's in a crowd of smart marks, for God's sake.
When I see Hogan, I see all the things that he's done, all the great matches he's had, all the crowd that he got behind him by doing all these fabulous things. I think with that, the crowd not going to leave him. Just like the crowd not left The Rock after 7 years. So I think, to be honest, the reason he's overrated is just because he's still being remembered for everything that he's done. Yeah,
and he'll also be overrated because of his... People will always overrate him because of his backstage politics, and they feel that's the way he got there. But the Hulkster was a fantastic backstage political, brother. You're not taking that away from him. Enough Hogan impressions. Let's get on to the next question. I can't pronounce this name. Subhan the Best. I'm just going to call it that. You are the best. I'm sorry if we pronounced your name wrong. This is a very good question, by the way. If you could have Benoit or Eddie in WWE, who would you choose?
Eddie Guerrero.
Eddie Guerrero. He had the title, but he can't hit the great one. Arriba, arriba!
The reason I choose Eddie Guerrero is because I found him more entertaining watching the ring. He had a persona that could be used anywhere in the WWE, mid-card, up-card, main event, anywhere. And I really enjoyed his storylines and his character in wrestling.
We lie, we cheat, we steal. We lie, we cheat, we steal. It has to be Eddie. I mean, Benoit was a great technical wrestler, but he didn't have too much personality. That was the problem. But regarding Eddie Guerrero, you could really get behind him, whether he was a face or a heel. He had the same gimmick, lie, cheat, and steal, as a heel and a face, and was over each time. He'd do great in the WWE right now, Eddie would, really.
Eddie's going to be really missed, and I'm just saying now that he would have been a great member of this roster that we have now. He would have the entertainment as well as the wrestling.
Indeed, yeah, he did have both those aspects, didn't he? He was a great wrestler, fought great wrestling matches, but he was also entertaining.
Very true.
Very good. Very unique guy there, Eddie Guerrero. It's a shame he's not with us now, though. That's the only problem. Indeed. R.I.P. Eddie Guerrero. The next question comes from JJ3628. And he says, do you guys like Man City? And do you know who Man City is, NJ?
Boo!
Why'd you boo them?
Football, come on now! Oh my gosh. Switch it off, put a wrestling DVD on and enjoy that.
But I am a football fan, and I'll say, even though I'm a Man United supporter, I can still I know you're a bit angry, but I can still appreciate a good football team. And even though Manchester City are Man United's rivals, I still think they're a good team and they can provide something which the Premiership needs, and that is, a new team coming up there and winning the league rather than United, Arsenal, Chelsea all the time. So I don't mind Man City, but the only time I don't like them is when they're winning the title over Man United and they're beating Man United. There you go. Any advice for me? I'm thinking of making some videos. Well, if we recap how we first started. When we first started, it was very slow, and it took us 4 months to get to our first 100 subscribers. It just goes to show how persistence can help, especially when you're making YouTube videos, and you just need to be patient.
Well, the one thing I found really good is get to know people. Like, you either talk to them through YouTube in your comments and that, inbox, or get them on Facebook, Skype, whatever, and just get to know people. They'll link you to other people, and just keep building up slowly over time as you make your videos.
Definitely so. So basically, the key ingredients are just, be original, be patient, and know some people. Just speak to some people like we do. That's one of the reasons why we keep doing videos.
And the fourth point is enjoy it, because obviously if you're not enjoying it, people are going to notice it and they'll switch off. As long as you're enjoying getting your stuff out there, more people will like you and subscribe.
We're having so much fun here, aren't we, NJ?
Yeah, indeed, mate.
Yeah, right. So let's get on to the Mr. Trick 1, aka Sheldon Fernandez's questions. He's always sending us questions, this guy. And I burst again, Laurinaitis. What do you think about Shane O'Mac returning? He's not.
Again, there's the whole him reliving McMahon moments, but to be honest, I think he's just not liking how Vince McMahon's treating the WWE, not the storylines. I think he's staying out.
Yeah, exactly. Shane O'Mac just didn't want to be part of it, did he? He didn't. I mean, if it was, it's just the way the product has changed, and like guys like Batista, he just didn't want to be part of the PG product like that because he just didn't feel that was the right way, and he didn't want to take that over. And you can say, I don't blame him, but at the same time, he could have helped the company, but I don't blame him for not. I don't blame him for not staying. I'd love to see him back, but it's not going to happen, is it?
No, it's not.
What do you think about the Punk and Ray feud? They had a couple, didn't they? I always enjoyed the feuds.
Ray, I'm not really a huge fan of, but to be honest, he was a great mover in the ring, and the way he worked well with Punk, who I believe for a long time now he's been a great wrestler. Their feud was definitely something that could keep on going because it got the crowd going. It was a good match. You had the combination there of two great wrestlers and two great storytellers, and you also had Punk, who was great on the mic. Remember that whole birthday thing? Happy birthday, stuff like that did make the feud very good, especially with Straight Edge Society. Could have given Punk a couple of wins, but oh well. The mask was involved. It wasn't going to happen. No. Which was the best John Cena feud, and what was his best match? LOL, even though he sucks. Best feud, John Cena's best feud. Edge? Yeah, it's going to be Edge, because they went on and had a continuous rivalry that can go over and over again, keep playing it, and they know the crowd would like it, so it's definitely against Edge. As for best match, I think it's a combination of two. I'm not sure what you feel about this, but Money in the Bank is definitely one of his better matches, just because he worked well with that crowd. He worked as a heel in that match, and he helped CM Punk put on a 5-star match, and with the story as well. Well, the way I see it is that Punk is an extremely good wrestler, and I think, to be honest, he went up against Cena, who again Cena's working with some of the great wrestlers, so that match was definitely one of them. What about One Night Stand 2006, RVD versus John Cena, with the whole ECW crowd booing the fuck out of Cena? That gave me a lot of respect for Cena, the fact that he would work in that environment and actually put RVD over as well. That match is definitely going to go down as one of his best. Yes, it might not have been the best of wrestling matches, but it was definitely one that has a lot of meaning to it. Yeah, and Shawn Michaels versus John Cena at WrestleMania 23 as well. I thought that was a good match. Well, of course, because you've got Shawn Michaels and you expect good matches with him. Exactly. How would you book Ziggler as a main eventer? Well, firstly, he's got to drop that US strap, hasn't he? And he has to be involved in a feud with someone like a Punk. Or something like that, just to get him in there. The way I see it is that the US title has been booked as about US champ. I can't believe they're still keeping it on him. But the other thing is, again, he's had signs of being involved in main events now. And I think, to be honest, he put on a good over 50-minute match with Punk. If he continues to have good length matches with other wrestlers, he could be pulled back up or pulled to the top. I also feel he needs to get rid of Vicky Guerrero. Even though Vicky Guerrero gets a lot of his heat, I feel that a great testament of a main eventer is a guy who can get his own heat. So I think he does need to branch out a little bit from Vicky Guerrero personally. Well, he's personally got the heat that he needs. He doesn't need it anymore. He's got the fans booing him and that, some are cheering him. So I think, to be honest, lose the US title, lose Vicky, and keep having long matches in main events. One way of getting heel heat in WWE, do a headstand. Will we see beer money in the WWE?
No, not with the way that TNA are booking them right now in the main event scene. I don't see them going to WWE at all.
No, I think, to be honest, just like the other rest we've had to the last Q&As, they're settled, they're happy, they've got what they need from TNA. They're in the main events now, so they're going to be happy, twice as happy now. I think they're going to stay where they're at.
What did you think about the Rock vs. Mankind Empty Arena match? You know what? I remember Sting and Angle had a match like that in TNA, and I really enjoyed that. And I really enjoyed Rock vs. Mankind. Empty Arena, it's just something different.
It was, and the thing about that, yes, you don't really have the crowd there to react with the match, but to be honest, they did put on an okay match, something different. They went backstage, they went on the audience. It was definitely just something interesting.
Definitely so. I enjoyed it. I mean, it's, like I said, just something very unique. It's kind of like a time clock challenge match of some kind. Lop07. Lop. Do you feel they should end the brand merger and have Raw and SmackDown together, carrying over the storylines like the good old days? With the roster they've got, it wouldn't be a bad idea. I mean, they don't have the strongest of rosters. I do like the whole brand on brand idea, but I did like the way they did it in the old days. But at the same time, they could make it work if they built the right guys correctly on the brands.
Well, the way I see it is keep them separate, but the booking on each show needs to be booked a lot better, so it can actually build up to maybe a main event on SmackDown versus main event on Raw. I think that could happen if the booking is better. Gave you a bet, so you think, oh, the rest on Raw are just as good as SmackDown, stuff like that.
It's mainly about the writing. I mean, to be honest, Vince McMahon is focused on 100% on Raw right now, and it's going down the shitter. So allow someone else other than fucking Vince McMahon, who keeps rewriting the Raw scripts, to book Raw and keep SmackDown the way it's going, because that's okay at the moment. Which diva all time would you most like to bed? Whoa! You go first.
I'm going to put 2 letters up for you, PG. Okay. The thing I'm going to say
I've got 2 letters for mine, brother. Go on, you carry on.
Well, the one I've got 2, but if I had to pick one, it'll be Lita.
Lita, a good choice. If I was going to pick one, now you know what I'm going to say here. I love a girl like AJ Lee. I'll say it 2 letters. And the reason why I like AJ is because I'm kind of into like sort of, I know it doesn't sound very good, but kind of like a girl that has a bit of nerdiness about them. I don't know what it is, the glasses, the nerdiness. I kind of like that, which is why one of the reasons I like AJ. Don't know what it is. And plus, Daniel Bryan, you don't you dare kiss my girl, Daniel Bryan. Don't do it again with that fucking beard. I'm growing one.
Let's not get into Daniel Bryan's divas.
No, let's not do that. The next set of questions come from James Morehouse, aka the Black Rose 1991. If they put the tag belts on Hunico and Epico soon, then when Averno comes in, do you think a rivalry between Hunico and Epico and Sin Cara and Averno over the tag team title is what they need to bring more prestige back to the titles?
Well, it'll be something different than what the tag teams we have been getting, so I think at the minute they just need to work on building them up.
Yeah, but it's not going to happen because Sin Cara's injured, isn't he? And Averno's not even signed. But I mean, if Sin Cara was, there, I mean, Hunico and Primo or Epico versus Sin Cara and Averno would be a good tag team, Lucha Libre style. I think that'd be pretty decent. Whether it would bring prestige to the tag titles back or not, I'm not sure about, but it would be some kind of tag team feud which you could use on TV, which has been very rare in late days.
And obviously people like the wrestler like Sin Cara and that, so having more tag teams like them would definitely get the crowd on their side and liking it.
Yeah. And my second question is, how would you book this rivalry? Just a brief outline of events. Well, firstly, you got Hunico and Epico and Primo in that stable. You'd keep that stable. You'd have them beat down on Sin Cara. Averno come in and save the day, and you'd have Teddy Long come out and make a tag team match for the following week, player.
Well, the way I'll do it is first you've got to sort Sin Cara out. You need to make him more good in the ring, less botchy, and then have what Dan just said.
Yeah, and also you'd have to get Hunico and Epico the tag titles by making them go against Evan Bourne and Kofi Kingston at some point, which could be done. The brand split isn't there, so, that could be very easily done, and then do what we suggested.
Yeah, because with tag team droppings, we do need to use the wrestlers that we do have that are in that division at the moment.
Yeah, and the next question comes from The Review Space. It said, now, back during the 90s, ratings were incredibly high, with an average of 8 to 9 million people watching the programme, WCW and WWF, every week. This was during the Attitude Era when the internet was available, but not nearly to scale as it was today in 2011. Now, here's my question. Here's the question. Has TV fallen so far in terms of popularity amongst viewers with the advent of the internet that it's become impossible to reach those high numbers anymore?
Well, first I would say spoilers don't help, but my main feeling about it is people are seeing how wrestling's changed over the years, lost interest, missing what they used to see back in the Attitude Era, and it's just not been the same.
Let's face it, wrestling is just not cool anymore, is it? I mean, other than the CM Punk thing, wrestling really isn't cool. like it used to be, and that was why a lot of people used to watch it, because it was cool and they could go into school and talk about it. You know, I don't think it's necessarily because of the internet. It's just, like I said, it's just the development of a new PG era, and an era which a lot of more adult hardcore fans just find it really hard to get into, whereas women and kids find it a lot easier to get into because of the PG-ness of it. The internet hasn't helped, though. The next question was, did the internet actually contribute to the loss of pro ratings wrestlings? Partially, but it's more to do with the evolution, like NJ said. Any more sort of thoughts on this whole thing?
All I can say is that, again, it's taken a while to build themselves up to something different, to maybe bring the crowd back in, but to be honest, it's just because of the writing now.
Yep. We'll take one more question. Mr. Jermaine 418. I've got 2 questions to you, Daniel. Hey, we're British Fist. We do things as a team, brother. There's no separating a British Fist. Apart from if you subscribe to our individual channels. Mine's Mr. Parkin01 and his is NJ17. That's all I can say about that. Nice little plug there, NJ. Let's get on to the question. I'm moving really fast now. I've got 2 questions for you, Daniel. Replace that with British Fist. What is the best match of Undertaker's Mania streak and worst? The best one would probably have to be against Shawn Michaels.
His worst has to be against Shawn Michaels.
His worst? No. His best is Shawn Michaels. His worst will be against, like, Giant Gonzalez or Kamala or, you know, guys like that. Just guys that just could not work in the ring. The worst one is that, but the best one's very obvious. I think it's probably Shawn Michaels.
All the way. Shawn Michaels all the way. They put on a great match.
And secondly, it's finally here. Have you got WWE 12 the game? Well, when we're recording this, it's actually the day before it comes out in England. So when we're recording this now, NJ won't have it. But as soon as this Q&A is up, he got it! Well done!
Yeah!
And he's probably completed the storyline mode too, or before. So you're getting the game. You're going to get it soon. So I'm not getting it, but you are.
And all I have to say is that when we've played it, enjoyed it, we have a good conversation about it. I'll probably review it. But there we go.
Check that out on his channel. He'll be doing a review probably. That's it for another Q&A with us, the British Fist. Keep getting your comments down below on what you thought of the answers to our questions. Maybe you have some separate thoughts. Also, keep sending us in your questions via those options in the description box below. There are 3 of them. Check them out. And NJ, do what you do best. I do the intro. You do the outro. Go ahead.
Well, guys, thank you for tuning in for another Q&A with the British Fist, which is Mr. Parkin and me, NJ. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Keep the questions coming. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And now, goodbye.